Okay, I have here my two favorite editing software, and I'm gonna tell you today how I edit my photos, and I'm gonna tell you all my secrets to make my photos look perfect or almost perfect. So you're gonna be able to do the same with your photos, because there are so many things you can do on editing to make your photos look professional. It's not just about shooting, which obviously it is, but then you can improve them a lot in the editing software I'm gonna show you today, two of them, because this is my editing process. And so many of you were requesting this. It's gonna be like a little editing masterclass. I selected a few photos of one recent vlog in Bali. So please go check it out later if you didn't yet, because it's very fun to watch and I give you photography tips as well. So these are the few photos I selected to show you. And as a beginner, this is a mistake everyone does. I used to do it as well, which is not correcting the horizon. Here in this photo, you don't see a clear horizon, but I can see it's a bit tilted. This is perfectly fixable and it's very easy. You have to select this tool in Lightroom and you just rotate a little bit, and you have the guides as well. And there you go, that would be more straight. This is a must. Also, if you can see the horizon in a landscape photo, if you see the ocean or in the mountains, always check the horizon first. This is the first step I do. And the next step for me would be to apply the preset. I do have my own Lightroom presets. You can go to check them out if you like them, but you can use any photographer's presets or your own. And there is nothing wrong with getting other photographers' presets, because you can deconstruct, you get to learn a lot. You have to adapt them. I do have a full video on my channel explaining how you can adapt any preset to your own photos. This is crucial, because if you don't adapt the presets to your photos, it's almost impossible. The preset is gonna look perfect in your photos, okay? So when you purchase mine, for instance, I do have a guide and I explain how the photos have to be taken for the preset to look good. But if it doesn't, I explain how you have to adapt them in that video I'm gonna put here, so you can check it out later. So I'm gonna apply my preset. For this one, I applied Cinematic by Laura BC, link below. And you're gonna see that it's very dark, but again, you had to adapt it. You just lift here the light a little bit, reduce the highlights. I'm not gonna make it perfect because this is not a tutorial about how to adapt a preset. I do have that video for that. I'm gonna raise the vibrance. You see, it's already perfect, way better than when you apply it in the first place. That's why it's very important to learn. So once I do this and I adapted the preset, the next step for me would be using masks. This is my favorite tool in Lightroom, or the next software I'm gonna show you, because you can do it as well there, because you're gonna drag attention to the subject. And as you can see here, there is a lot going on. The landscape is beautiful, but I want more attention on her. So you have two options. You can apply vignette, which is down here. You can see it here, and it focuses attention on her. But if you want to do it manually, and this is something I do a lot, I use masks. If you go here, you can use the linear gradient, because you're gonna be able to change whatever you want in the photo. Maybe you just want to darken this side. So you draw one here and you reduce the exposure, then another one here. Because maybe you don't want to darken the top of the photo because it's beautiful landscape. I just need to darken the sand. So this is the perfect option if you don't want to use vignette. This is the before, and this is the after. But there are more things you can do. On this one, I'm not gonna do it much, but there is another mask I use a lot, which is the radial gradient. You press plus, you go to radial, and obviously you drag attention to the face or to the subject. Always use the feather tool, so it's a bit more smooth. This is the feather, as you can see. This is obviously too strong or softer. I like it very soft, so it's very gentle. And then you lift a little bit the exposure, tiny bit, or maybe just the shadows. On this one, I don't need to do it too much, but now I can see her more, so it looks way better, this photo already. Using the mask or the vignette helps as well to make the picture more moody. I'm gonna exaggerate it a little bit so you can see it. I'm gonna go to vignette. I use it in all my photos because it darkens the photos and I love dark photos. I'm gonna exaggerate it, you see? But then I close the midpoint. So you can make it more moody doing this. This is something I do a lot. It's one of my secrets, but obviously I don't exaggerate that much, so maybe I'm gonna do it like that. I love how it looks already. And the next step would be opening a software I love and I've been using well before I started my YouTube channel for all my professional work in London and now in Bali. And that software is Luminar Neo. And you can use it as a plugin for Lightroom and Photoshop or as a standalone software. If you don't want to pay subscription with Adobe, that's fine. I do have an entire video showing you how I edit photos using just Luminar Neo. So you can check it out later as well if you want to see how it works just using that software. But my process is like this: Lightroom, Luminar, Photoshop. And Luminar Neo is kindly sponsoring today's video, and you're gonna have a 15% discount below, and it's a non-subscription software. You can buy it once and you own it, and then you receive updates. So that's great, and it's an amazing option for you if you don't want to use Adobe. You have to right-click on the photo, edit in, Luminar Neo. Here you have presets as well from Luminar, which work really well. But I'm gonna go to edit. My favorite tools in Luminar Neo, because I'm a portrait photographer, are the portrait tools and the body tools. So for portrait, I'm not gonna do it here because you cannot even see her face, but for body, even though I never touch any photo unless the client tells me, I'm gonna tell you what it does because it helps a lot when I was doing fashion editorial campaigns in London or working with clients who were telling me, make me skinnier, okay? So many clients tell you that, so then I do it. Not too much, but I do it. So you're gonna see here with the AI how it changes the body. So look at her, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. If you go to shape, if you raise it a little bit, look, I'm making her skinnier. So this is the before, and this is the after. So I never do this, but it's for you to know if you have clients and they tell you they want to look skinnier, you can do it with AI with just one slider. So I'm gonna leave it like it was. And what I'm gonna show you now is a portrait. So you're gonna be able to see even better, more tricks I use, and also the Luminar Neo portrait features. So I'm gonna cancel it here. Let's choose this portrait, and I'm gonna tell you some more secrets that you need to know for portrait photography as well. So first, I'm gonna apply my preset, Cinematic by Laura BC, a bit more light, reduce highlights by a lot. Let's make it warmer. This is so beautiful already. I mean, color grading is one of my favorite parts, and you have to do it because the photo looks way better, and yeah, you will learn. And if you don't know, use any preset from other photographers. It doesn't have to be mine, can be other photographers' preset. Maybe you like their style and then you play with them and you can make them your own as well. It's a very good trick for beginners. So I will leave it like this for now, maybe a bit darker. Right click, edit in, Luminar Neo, edit. Here you're gonna see properly why I love Luminar so much, because for portrait photography, it makes my life way easier. I know that Photoshop now improves all of this and you can do it with Photoshop as well. But before Photoshop, Luminar was already there doing it, so I just got used to it, and I think Luminar is very complete. Let's go here to Vignette. So I show you as well that you can do it with Luminar perfectly if you don't want to have Adobe. So you go to Vignette, Amount, you reduce it a little bit, and then the size a little bit as well. And this is the before and the after. This is a way I make my photos look more moody, and you guys love it because I always receive so many DM on Instagram about this. So one of my secrets is using this. So you can do it in Luminar as well. And then I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna go to portrait, face. I mean, it's well lit, the face, but you can lit the face, there you go, without having to mask it. Not much, because naturally there is a shadow here and I love playing with shadows, so I don't want to remove it. Then the face, I'm not gonna change it unless people ask me to change it, but as you can see here, if I lift it, this is the before, and this is the after. It makes the face slimmer. And then the eyes, this is a tool I use a lot. You have so many tools, very customized for the eyes. But the one I use the most, you can raise eye enhancer and you can see more the light in the eyes, and then the eye whitening as well. So it's gonna make it whiter and I can see more her eyes. And obviously in a portrait, the eyes are very important. And then the teeth, if you go to mouth and you go to teeth whitening and you raise teeth whitening, and I'm gonna show the before and after. This is the before and this is the after. And I didn't have to mask anything because by AI, it detects everything. So this is great. And there is another tool I love and I use all the time, but she has beautiful skin, so I didn't have to do it. But with me, I had to do it all the time with my self-portraits. Is here, if you go to skin, if you raise it a lot, I'm gonna exaggerate it, you're gonna see the before, pay attention to the skin, and the after. It soothes the skin by a lot, so I never do it 100%. My maximum is 40-45, never more than that. And then if there are defects, I remove them with the erase option Luminar has. I'll show you. You would go to this tool, erase, and I would select like a very tiny brush, and I would click here and here, and then click erase. And that's it. There is nothing else in the skin. And the next secret, which everyone does as a professional photographer and every beginner overlooks this, is removing distractions from the photo. Do this with all the photos and you're gonna see the difference that it makes, and you're gonna be able to do it with the same tool. So I'm gonna show you the difference. For example, here, this distracts me, this stick here, and this dark dot here. And even this a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna remove it. I would do the same as before, taking a bigger brush. I would paint, maybe here as well, and then here. And we mentioned to remove this. Okay, I'm gonna fit to screen to show you. Erase. And that's it. But look the before and look the after. It's way cleaner and more professional. How many hours I take removing tiny things you wouldn't even notice, but I notice. But then you see the final photo and you see it's very professional, very clean, and the subject always stands out. And you have to do the same if you want your photo to look more professional. And I'm gonna show you quickly another portrait because I'm gonna show you another one of my secrets to improve all my portrait photography work by a lot. So this one is another portrait. I'm gonna go quickly here. I'm gonna apply my preset, doing the corrections I told you before to make it look better. I'm gonna open Luminar because I always do this with Luminar Neo. I never found any tool like this one. So I'm gonna show you quickly again the portrait features. Here you can appreciate the tools even more because it's facing to the camera. So I'm gonna go to face. There you go. The eyes, you're gonna see the eye enhancer. I did it a lot for you to see it. If you overdo it, it looks like this, but never overdo it because it looks like a doll. So we'll go to maybe 30, something like that. And then the tool I didn't show you and I really want you to see is this one. If you go to skin, shine removal. If you follow my work, you know that I shoot a lot in the studio and it's completely normal that with the flash, there are so many shiny parts in the face because we all have oily skin, not all of us, but you know what I mean? Even when you are hot or you are sweating or it's very bright in the scene, like here for instance, it's not a studio photo and she's shiny a little bit. So you're gonna see how it works. Look, this is the before. Look at the shiny parts and this is the after. Don't overdo it because it's not natural as everything, but it's great how it removes the shine. I'm gonna go lower. This is before. And this is the after. So with 40 is perfect because it removes a lot of the shine, but not till the point is fake, okay? I tried reducing the highlights in Lightroom in Photoshop and it's not as natural as this tool in Luminar. And then there are so many tools in Luminar Neo and there are some very creative that you're gonna love. And if you go here, for example, one of them is film grain. Sometimes I like to add grain because it's more natural and not that digital. So you can add a little bit, you see, this is the before, and this is the after. I like it, it looks good. But then you can play as well with the size of the noise or the roughness, which is very great because you're gonna be able to simulate different noise as well, different grain. And then another one, I'm gonna remove this for now, is the matte finish, which is this one. If you raise this amount, you're gonna see it makes the photo look more editorial. It's like fading a little bit the shadows. So this is the before, and this is the after. It's a bit flatter the image, but again, you can reduce the contrast. I like to reduce it a little bit. So it's a bit more flat, the image, more editorial. Before and after. I think it looks more cohesive and I love using this. So this is the before and the after. But you can do a lot of stuff here I'm not gonna go into. And my last step of my creative process would be Photoshop, using Photoshop. And I'm gonna show you quickly the couple of things I do. And one is very important and you should do it in every single photo you edit. In Photoshop, what I would do is the last touches of the photo. I'm not gonna get into it because it would be just tiny things, maybe cloning some stuff. But one of the things you have to do always in any software is Command L and check the histogram, because many times the displays are brighter or darker and then the picture is not gonna be accurate. So then if I don't check the histogram and I send the photos to a client, they tell me, Laura, it's very dark. And it did happen to me because I didn't check the histogram. And not so long ago actually. And you can see the histogram here is too flat. So just do a little bit like this and the levels are more correct. And if you press Alt, you're gonna be able to see in the image what is burning out and where you are losing information. So I always play with this. And when I see that I don't lose any information, there you go, more or less, I leave it there. Okay. And that's the last touch I would do in Photoshop, apart from many other little things that I could explain in another tutorial if you like. But you do this and all these portrait tools Luminar Neo has, I think it's great. If you like the software, I do have more tutorials, so go check them out, and then in the link below you have a code with a 15% discount. So if you like it, go for it. Ask me any questions you may have in the comments below because I'm very happy to help. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't yet, and like the video because it helps me a lot, and I will see you very soon. Big love from Bali.